we spoke about resourcefulness, we talk about problem solving. So, what are some of the challenges that you faced during your leadership endeavors, and also that are also similar to challenges that you faced when you started your first business during school and after school? And
Mm,
then you can also tell us about how those things built in you a particular trait or
mm,
character that you think
mm.
has helped you come this far
Yeah.
with a lot of things that you've done.
I'll start by picking the trait persistence.
Okay. So
Persistence,
not giving up. Yeah.
not giving up. Determination is another character. And I will now link them back to those challenges. So for me, it was determination, focus, these two things. So when I left senior high school, these two words became my motive up until now. Now, the challenge. One of them that quickly comes to mind, there are a couple of them, several of them. I'll try to remember
Yeah.
some. One of them
Yeah.
that easily come to mind was the preparation for the Mr. and Miss Bosa. There was no money. And there were so many things that we needed money to do, but the money was not going to come from anywhere. And I didn't want to risk going frequently to the administration to seek for money from the SRC dues, which will now become an issue. And then as a result, the program will be cancelled. So what did I do? The challenge was there was no money, there was no resource, there was no funds. So I went back to the headmistress and I told her that we want to go and seek for sponsorship from outside the school, from some corporate institution. She was like, wow, how are we going to do that? I said, all I need for her is that we will drop the letter together with the entertainment teacher who is in charge, patron. And then when we bring the letter, we want the letter to be printed on the letterhead of the school, official letterhead of the school. And then she will go sign it and I will also sign. And then we can present it. So, okay, that is good. So she asked me to go and drop the letter. I dropped the letter, gave it to the teacher. He checked it. Everything was okay. I sent it back. They asked me to go and give it to Mrs. Gardner, one of the English teachers, to also just proofread it. So after everything was done, I sent it to the secretary. She typed it and then the letter was ready. She signed about 100 letters for us.
Wow.
100 letters. Then quickly, this is the fun part. This is the interesting part. This is where I built a lot of determination. Theo, I entered offices that under normal circumstances, no ordinary student, secondary school student, small boy would have the audacity to enter. So what happened was that I said we are going to look at a lot of corporate institutions. I don't even know where some of these ideas were coming from, but it's obvious. So we went to Cowbell, Promasidor Ghana Limited. We went to Indomie. And some of these places, we did not even know where they were located, my brother. We didn't know where they were. Because after that time, I was around 16, 17, no, I think 18 years or so. I didn't even know much of these things. We are talking about 2010, thereabouts. We formed committees from the SRC to handle the project. So I remember this guy, Kingsley Amwa. He was one of the cadet officers in our time. He was our colleague, Kingsley Amwa. And even Felix was also part, the SRC vice president. So myself,
Felix Adai, yeah.
Felix Adai, and then Kingsley. Look, while school is in session, we will leave campus and we are roaming the whole of Accra. Roaming the whole of Accra. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We're roaming the whole of Accra, distributing letters from TV3 to which, I mean, why didn't we go? Promasidor, Cowbell at North Kaneshi. We went to places.
Did you divide and conquer or you went?
No, neither. We were just about, mostly we are moving, we are three. Myself, Felix, and Kingsley. Mostly just the three of us.
Talking about this challenge, another thing that comes to mind that probably maybe you might not have noticed is that comes with leadership or starting any entrepreneurship venture is sacrifice and teamwork. Because talking about you leaving classes behind, which means that you were going to be behind in lessons, right?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot of times. And maybe some of the teachers were, especially I remember one particular teacher that doesn't like that idea that you miss class at all because you're a school prefect. The elective math teacher, what is his name? The Jamel. He doesn't like that idea at all. So whenever I miss his class, and let's say for example, I miss his class and maybe there's about 10 or 15 minutes to the end of his class, I will not even go to the class at all. Because that will bring a lot of, either he's angry or I don't know.
He didn't care if you're a school prefect. Yes.
He doesn't care. He will spank you right now. And if he won't spank you, the comments he will make you feel bad. So I will even come. And then another person who doesn't also like it too much was our physics teacher, Mr. Kwao. But for him, even though I miss his class sometimes, When I come, I'm able to do well.
Pick up. Yeah.
If you give exercise, I do my work, I pass and go. So he wasn't having too much a problem. So for me, I think one of the things that was so crucial was, like you said, teamwork. Because I think I would have given up quite easily, especially with the idea of going to look for sponsorship.
Okay.
I would have given up quite easily if I was alone. But because Felix and Kingsley were always, especially Kingsley, he says, let's go. That guy, I cherished him so much because for him, I remember there was a time we went to one of the offices, they didn't receive us work. He said, Scoopy, let's go to another place. Wow. We just kept moving. Wow. And so for me, I think teamwork, and young people must learn that in certain things you need to be in a team. Yeah. The ability to be able to even form a team also brings about the testament of who you are, your leadership style, your quality. Because without a team, there are certain things that you cannot do alone. In fact, that is what happens also in business. In entrepreneurship, it's always good. It's difficult to have people to think or to have the same idea or to buy into, not to have the same idea, but to buy into the same vision is quite difficult. And it's very useful. So to answer that question finally, so one of the challenges that I had that came to bear even in my entrepreneurship drive was lack of funds, where to get money to start something.
Capital.
So I was talking about the fact that two of the traits that I built from that was determination and focus. Because we went to Cowbell, they said, okay, we'll hear from them. In fact, we went to Cowbell 3 times. The first time, they said the person who is in charge is not around. The second time, they said, oh, we have to come again. Then the third time, they received our letter, but then they told us that, unfortunately, they have closed their budget for the quarter because they do budget for every quarter. So if we had come earlier, meanwhile, we came 2 times already. Then from Promasidor, who are in charge of Cowbell, I think we went to Indomie. The Indomie office too, we didn't even know where it was. But we kept asking, oh my goodness. And all these rounds, we went to some TV stations because we wanted to see if we can get some TV stations to come and cover. We never got any one of them, but we went. So the point I'm trying to make is that we went to GTV, TV3, and I think Metro. But the point I'm trying to make is that the journey and the rounds we made in all these with rejections, all of them rejected at the point, built some form of
resilience,
persistence. We kept going. The first one rejected, we went to another one, in that order. But finally, we got a sponsor. You see how things work.
A question I wanted to ask: you mentioned that you printed how many letters?
100.
Were you able to distribute all the 100?
No. We didn't distribute all 100. I think that if I recollect clearly, we distributed about 20 out of it. And the rest of the letters also. The rest of the letters, we gave some of them to the contestants and some of the members of the committee to just go and give to individuals, because the letter was such that it was a bit open, whether it's a corporate institution or whether it's an individual you want to support the SRC towards the preparation or the celebration of the anniversary. So it was a bit open. So we distributed about 20 of those letters. But finally, we had a sponsor, and that made the program so beautiful, so lovely. And that was Rock's Energy Drink. So one time,
you had how many sponsors?
I think we had one sponsor also. And I remember we also went to Junior Graphic. We went to Junior Graphic. They said, okay, they will come. They never showed up. And so we finally ended up getting one sponsor. So the sponsor came to help us to support the winners, to award the winners. But then it was a product. So it was Rock's Energy Drink. So that Rock's Energy Drink, we factored the price into our ticket. So it made us do something they called, I forgot there's a term they use in sponsorship. So it's like partner. So we sell the energy drink at a very reduced price. And then they also sponsor us to support the winners to award the winners. And a couple of other things came on board. But how did we get Rock's Energy Drink? That is the most important thing for me. Then it comes to the second part of my traits that I got from being a school prefect as a result of the program that we organized is determination. Now, the point is that how did we get Rock's Energy Drink? It wasn't through me. It was through Samira, our classmate.
Wow, okay.
You remember Samira? Yes.
I remember very well. Yeah.
Good. So what I'm trying to say is that when you have a vision and you don't keep the vision, you share the vision, not twice, but consistently, you will attract people.
Help
You will
us.
attract people around you who you have no idea in diverse ways they can be able to contribute and make your idea or your program or your project successful. Trust me. So you have to be determined. Determination means that you don't give up. You keep pressing, you keep moving. Sometimes you will fail, but failure in itself is a definition of success. You get the whole idea. So from nowhere, one day I was there. Then Samira, who was our science classmate, told me that she knows one man called, I've forgotten his name. They were the people who normally organize, Mr. Sam. They were part of the people who normally organize Mr. and Miss SSS.
Wow,
So
okay.
she will invite him to come so that I can have a discussion. Meanwhile, as I'm talking, Samira is in the same school with us, the same classroom. They'll be hearing about the Mr. and Miss Osam we want to organize. One day, then she approached me that she can do this, she can do that. So for me, the lesson I got from that was that you don't have to give up. If you have a vision, you have a plan, you have an idea, you must keep pushing. Because, like we said, ideas are like the ore of gold. They are very dirty. Initially, when you take an idea, it looks like gold that has been just taken from the ground. It's the dust. It's dust. Actually, it's dust. You are not even sure whether when you process it or you wash it, you tend to become some particles of gold that you can take on further. So for me, that leads me to one of the businesses that we started together. So I think that is the most important aspect. So after school, all life after school, we kept the momentum. We kept the momentum. So one of our first business we decided to venture together, I call it our first taste of business frustration, was when we decided to set up Tech Garant.
Yeah.
If you remember, we decided to set up Tech Garant, and we have the business plan. We will show it to you guys in our pictures. You will see that time where we were.
Yeah, and we show our
pictures on our screen.
Yeah, we even put a business plan together with our profile.
Yes.
And at that time, I think 21 or 20. I was like, where did you get
were 20? From? I think you were 19 or 20. And if you were 19, I was 20. But if you were 20, I was 21 because I'm 1 year older than you, I guess. Yeah. So, look, for example, our first ever business we tried together was Tech Garant. And the idea of Tech Garant was so passionate to us that we believed at the time that it was going to make us millionaires.
It still can make us millionaires.
Yeah, and it still has the potential.
It
has the potential. And the beautiful thing about it is that many years down the line, even though we couldn't succeed in that business for several factors, one of them is what we are going to talk about or we'll be discussing also, is that financial challenges, support from government, the community. There isn't any cluster of the support system is not there for young people. Just in support of the idea. Because when you have an idea to start a business, one of the things that everybody should learn is that to start a business, you must be able to know what you, the originator of the idea, or you, the originators of the idea, what specific qualities can you bring to bear on the business? For example, you cannot say you are going to a business where the core functionality of the business must be done by somebody else. It's fine. Maybe you don't have the expertise, but you must find something. And I'm saying that to link to the fact that what the whole idea of Tech Garant, as at that time, 2013, the whole idea of Tech Garant was we discovered that, especially on university campuses, people's phones get damaged and they don't have money to repair it. So why don't we provide something like an insurance kind of thing with a lot of goodies and a lot of benefits where people can be able to subscribe when their phone is damaged, they can be able to call on Tech Garant. We come and pick the phone, get it done for them. Even if their phone doesn't get damaged, there were several other things we were giving them at the end of the particular
there were packages
and stuff like that. But one of the things we realized that, but we were three actually. We were three, myself, you, and one of our senior, Vincent. As at that time, was already into phone repairs. So he was having the technical expertise of phone repairing. But at the point, we realized that you also needed to also learn something. So that was what led you to now abandon some of your university classes and lectures to also quickly do what? To go and learn how to repair phones so that you can be able to support from the beginning. Because from the beginning, we didn't have the money and the resources to say we are going to employ people to come and do that. So we are trying to share the responsibilities that we can all take care of.
And I had to stay behind after vacation in school to learn, to join the program. And it was during that course of learning that one evening I stayed behind after the class to use the internet because you have to research, you have to download stuff. And then when I was going home, I was attacked by, in Ghana, we would say Kwashe boys. I don't know if the camera would do justice. They nearly
Wow.
cut my hands off.
Hey,
Right?
Charlie.
Yeah, I bled so much. I was rushed to, God being so good, I had some friends around. So I went back to the hostel and they rushed me to the hospital. So those are some of the challenges that you can
Risk.
go
The physical
through.
challenges. I mean, because they didn't understand the vision we were carrying for that
Yes.
business. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so just to highlight to you, PY said, you have to have a lot of determination and focus and resilience not to give up, because even
Yeah.
people who are supposed to support you will try to bring you down.
Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing.